The Caldwell Group's quarterly review in downtown Chicago wasn't about strategy. Not really. It was about status, especially with the family involved. I stood at the threshold of the marble-wrapped boardroom on the 47th floor, watching my cousin Lucas line up folders like he was arranging a five-star menu. He didn't bother looking up. "Oh, Belle," he said with an exasperated sigh. "Overflows down the hall. Storage room past the supply closet. This room's for key stakeholders only." I glanced down at my cream Dior pantsuit, tailored, razor sharp. Inside my leather satchel was a file that could append the entire meeting. "Key stakeholders," I repeated. "You know," he smirked, "people who actually contribute." Then came my Aunt Nain, ever polished and politely cruel. "This isn't really the place for lifestyle bloggers." That's what they called me after I walked away at 31, 4 years ago, to start something cute on the side. They still thought I ran a blog. What they didn't know was that my side project had grown into Orion Ventures, an invisible force that now owned half of Caldwell Group. Lucas chuckled. "Hope you like filing cabinets. You might be bunking with the janitor today." He didn't know that. An hour ago, my assistant confirmed Orion had acquired the final 4%. I now held 51% via layered trusts and shell companies. They had no idea that I was Orion. "We're starting in 10, Nain said, eyes sharp. "I'll be presenting the Griffin deal." Griffin, the $80 million acquisition. I almost laughed. Griffin's CEO had finalized that agreement with me yesterday. They just didn't know whose hand they'd shaken. Lucas gave me a faux concerned smile. "Still renting that shoebox office by the river?" That shoebox was one of Orion's startup accelerators. My real HQ? A 5-story glass fortress on Lake Michigan, complete with a helipad and a floor for international partners. "I get by," I said, calmly adjusting my briefcase strap. Nain gestured down the hall. "Storage rooms that way. Let's keep distractions minimal. Belle, this is a serious meeting." I gave a single nod and walked down the corridor, not as the overlooked niece they thought I was, but as the majority stakeholder of the company they were desperately trying to keep afloat. "Real business on the table," Nain said behind me. I stepped into the so-called storage room and closed the door quietly. It smelled of dust and toner. Old banners drooped in corners. Fitting, a perfect metaphor for how they saw me, boxed up, forgotten, irrelevant. 5 years ago, I stood where Nain was now, presenting strategy decks, chasing investor faith, trying to modernize Caldwell. I was 30 then. I still believed in legacy. Until I found the files. Unsafe suppliers, bribes disguised as consulting fees, faked environmental audits swept under minor infractions. I took it all to Uncle Garrett. He didn't even blink. "That's the cost of staying competitive, Belle. If that bothers you, maybe you're not executive material." So I walked. I used the inheritance my mother left me, wealth she earned before marrying into the Caldwell empire, and launched Orion Ventures in her name, Olivia Rena Caldwell. She once told me, "Legacy is what you build when no one's watching." I built quietly, ethically, relentlessly. While Caldwell polished its image and rotted inside, Orion rose. Now I wasn't here to reconnect. I was here to reclaim what they thought I'd thrown away. Caldwell was hemorrhaging trust. Clients were vanishing. Revenue was flatlining. Investor confidence? Vapor. And the rescue they prayed for was me. I settled in between dusty filing cabinets and unused swag mugs, opened my laptop, and listened. Through thin drywall, their voices leaked through. Nadine, laughing too loud. Lucas, tossing around MBA buzzwords. "Mr. Griffin, we're very excited about your alignment with our long-term goals," Nain said, syrupy sweet. I almost laughed. Griffin wasn't here for them. He was here for Orion. For me. The deal Nain thought she was about to pitch? Already signed, under my name, on terms she couldn't imagine. My phone vibrated. "Maya, assistant, legal is ready. Proxy votes locked. Board is aligned. Just say the word." Overhead, a fluorescent light buzzed. Fitting, in this forgotten room, they'd boxed me in, right as I prepared to take everything they believed was theirs. Another buzz. "Maya, Mr. Griffin wants to know if you want him to keep playing along or pull the curtain." I typed back, "Let it play out." But make sure he doesn't sign anything Nain hands him. Just then, the door creaked open. It was Camille, Uncle Garrett's third wife, barely older than me, drenched in designer, voiced like reality TV. "You've saged this room," she said, waving a manicured hand. "Don't close the door. Your typing's echoing down the hall." I smiled. Of course. Camille vanished without a thank you, blissfully unaware her ironclad prenup had already been reviewed, flagged, and quietly acquired by one of Orion's subsidiaries, along with photos of her golf lessons. In the next room, Garrett's voice echoed through the wall. "Welcome, everyone. Caldwell Group is excited to explore select strategic alliances." Translation: We're bleeding out. Please, someone throw us a lifeline. They were $200 million in the red. And the only reason they hadn't drowned already was me. But I wasn't here to save them. I was here to take over. Right on cue, my screen showed Caldwell's stock dropping another 2.1% since market open. From the boardroom, Nain's voice dripped with false confidence. And with Mr. Griffin's support, she chirped, "We'll scale across the Midwest tech quarter and beyond." Then came Griffin's reply, cool, deliberate. "Actually, I'm not here for that proposal." Silence. "I'm here to speak with the CEO of Orion Ventures." I could almost hear Nain's lip gloss crack under the tension. I'm sorry," she stammered. "This was arranged through Caldwell." "It was," Griffin replied. "But Orion now holds controlling interest in Caldwell Group and several of your key partners, including mine." Garrett's voice blustered. "That's absurd. We'd know if someone was buying us out." I stood, adjusted my ivory blazer cuff, and stepped into the stunned boardroom. "Would you?" I asked, walking in slowly. "Like you knew your safety audits were forged? Or that your subcontractors in Jakarta are under wage theft investigation? Or that your top clients now work with a firm that actually values transparency?" The room went still. For the first time in years, they didn't see the niece who left. They saw the woman who owned the room. Nadine went ghost white. Lucas dropped his gilded pen. Garrett stared at me, frozen between denial and dawning realization. "There must be some mistake," he muttered, clinging to the possibility. What are you?" I smiled, walked to the head of the table, and laid my briefcase down with a soft click. "Perhaps we should restart this meeting," I said. "It's bad form to leave your majority shareholder in the storage closet." No one moved. No one breathed. I opened the briefcase, calm and methodical. "Orion Ventures," I began, "now holds 51% of Caldwell Group stock." Dead silence. "We also control majority stakes in 3 of your 5 core suppliers. Your primary financing line is now under our authority. And as of this morning, we hold exclusive contracts with over 80% of your top clients." "That's impossible," Nain croaked. "I run Orion," I said. "I have for 5 years. You just never noticed. You were too busy posing for annual reports and rearranging deck chairs on a sinking ship." Lucas blinked like he was waking from anesthesia. "But, you work in some shoebox by the river." "One of our RD hubs, yes," I said. I connected my laptop to the screen. Charts flared to life, declining profits, mounting litigation, customer churn. "My real office is in Sterling Tower. The one that casts a shadow over this building." I turned to the room. "Let's begin." The slides moved, Caldwell stock down 60%. Federal investigations. Pending subpoenas. "Now hold on," Garrett tried. I cut in. "While you groomed Nain and Lucas to bury red flags, I built something resilient. Something clean." Griffin gave a small nod. "That's why we partnered with Orion. They don't bluff. They deliver." "Ethics don't cover payroll," Nain snapped, her voice cracking. "They do when your margins are 30% above industry average," I replied, flipping to the next slide. "When you respect your workers, your vendors, the law, profit follows." I handed out folders. Inside is Orion's proposal. A $200 million injection. The exact figure your quarterly reports needed to avoid collapse. Garrett's eyes narrowed. The CEO mask flickered, but his instincts, the predator beneath, were awakening. "And what do you want?" he asked. "Control," I said, steady. "Operational authority." The Caldwell family keeps 20% equity, but executive decisions now go through Orion's board. The words landed like a gavel. This company, and this family, are about to change. Lucas barked a brittle laugh. "You're bluffing." "Nain, tell her she can't." "She's not bluffing," Griffin said firmly. "Miss Caldwell controls 51%, with proxy votes confirmed. She's fully within her rights." I clicked to the final slide, a timeline of violations, lawsuits, and decaying leadership. "The choice is yours," I said. "Accept our terms and let us rebuild. Or let the house of cards collapse." Nain's voice was barely a whisper. "You'd do this to your own family?" "This isn't destruction," I said. "It's restoration. Orion rebuilds what people like you ruined, starting with our own name." Garrett slowly rose. His pride still flared behind his eyes, but something else flickered there too. Recognition. Maybe even respect. "You planned all of this," he murmured. "The resignation. The buyouts. The clients." I met his gaze. "I learned power plays from you," I said. "But leadership?" "That I learned from Mom." He flinched at the name. Olivia Rena Caldwell. His sister. The soul of the company, erased after her death. Until now. I slid a folder toward him. "Sign today," I said. "The press already has the story. Your creditors are watching. So is the EPA." Nain grabbed his arm. "We can find another investor." "Can you?" I asked, tilting my head. "Check your phones." A synchronized glow of screens lit the table. Breaking: Orion Ventures declares majority ownership of Caldwell Group. Immediate restructuring would be complete by market close. By then, they'd be lucky if the Caldwell name still meant anything. The boardroom erupted, buzzing phones, hushed arguments, wide-eyed stares. Lucas slumped into his seat, pale and hollow. Nain blinked in disbelief, frozen. Garrett sat rigid, eyes scanning the contract for a loophole that wasn't there. His hand trembled as he reached the final page. "You'll keep the Caldwell name?" he asked quietly. I nodded once. "The name stays. The old ways don't." Our eyes locked. It's time Caldwell Group meant more than quarterly gains and spin. He exhaled slowly, and for the first time in years, something shifted behind his eyes. Respect, maybe. Or surrender. He picked up the pen. "Wait," Nain's voice cracked. "What about us?" "Your roles are secure," I said, calm but firm. "If you're willing to learn, Orion offers training in ethical leadership and sustainable governance." I paused, letting the weight of it settle. "Or, you can walk away with your 20% equity. No hard feelings." Lucas shook his head in disbelief. "You'd really fire your own family?" "I'd really hold them to the same standard as everyone else," I replied. "That's how Orion works." By the hour's end, the contracts were signed. As the room emptied, Mr. Griffin approached, offering a quiet handshake. "Well played," he said. "Your mother would be proud." I looked around the room, once a fortress for power plays, now a stage for reckoning. In the corner, Nain, Lucas, and Garrett stood in silence, watching the company they once ruled shift beneath them. A part of me felt for them. But a bigger part knew, this wasn't cruelty. This was justice. Months passed. The change was real. The rot was cut out piece by piece. Fair wages. Safe working conditions. Real sustainability. Not buzzwords, policy. Nain, to everyone's surprise, leaned in. She enrolled in ESG programs, got certified, and became a rising force in corporate responsibility. Lucas took longer, but eventually found his stride leading community engagement, redeeming his name in neighborhoods once burned by it. And Garrett? He stepped down as CEO but stayed on as an advisor, guiding with a wisdom finally unclouded by ego. Even he admitted, 1 year later, that Orion hadn't destroyed his legacy. It had elevated it. I stood at the window of my Sterling Tower office, the Chicago skyline glowing beneath the stars. Across the city, the Caldwell Group building still stood, but now, beneath its name, a silver seal read, Certified by Orion Ethical Enterprise. A soft knock. Your uncle and Nain are here for the quarterly, Maya said with a smile. She's got updates on the worker safety reforms. Send them in, I replied, turning from the view. They entered, not into a storage room this time, but into my office. Their expressions open, their posture changed. No posturing. No games. Just work. Ready to review numbers? Garrett asked. No sarcasm, just sincerity. I gestured to the round table at the center of the room. No head. No throne. Every chair equal. Always, I said. Because when people know they matter, everything changes. Under Orion's lead, Caldwell Group didn't just recover. It thrived. Clean audits. Record profits. Historic employee retention. And headlines no longer asked if ethics and success could coexist. They asked how we made it look easy. And when someone joked about sending someone to storage again, they were reminded. The woman once pushed aside didn't just own a seat. She owned the table. If you stayed with me through this, thank you. I didn't share this for applause. I shared it because I know what it feels like to be overlooked. To be told to sit down. To be underestimated. So if this hit home, tell me, what was your storage room moment? Because the more we speak, the stronger we all become. If you believe in rising quietly, then powerfully, subscribe. Not for me. For you. To remind yourself that resilience speaks louder than rank. My advice? Don't wait for the invitation. Use the silence. Use the rejection. Let the locked doors sharpen your blueprint. Then when your door's ready, open it. Not for revenge. But for clarity. For purpose. For change. We deserve more than survival. We deserve to lead. Let's rise.